Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Rapture Recap. I'm Jalen Barnes,
And I'm Casey Barnes.
and we're happy to have you here with us again. Make sure you text Rapture to 797979. You'll be signed up for RaptureGO and connected to every Rapture Recap, every podcast of our sermons, like the ones we're talking about today. So you don't want to miss out on that. Text Rapture to 797979. If you need prayer for anything, text pray to 797979. We've got a team standing by ready to pray for you.
Amen.
We're happy to take your prayer requests.
Amen.
We're still on another level of faith, and we're getting close to the end of that. If you've been following along, listening online, then it's already been changing your life. What I love about this series on faith is that it's very accessible and shows you how accessible faith is to every believer.
Yeah.
No matter what age you are in the body, no matter how long you've been saved, it does not matter. It's not going to change your results.
Exactly.
You're going to get out what you put into it. Whatever your input is, you're going to get that same output. And one very key thing, because if we're talking about levels of faith, another level of faith, the principle that we're breaking down here is the understanding that no matter what your faith level is, where you are on your walk with Christ, how much you're able or willing to believe, whatever your level of faith is, so long as it's genuine, Jesus will meet you there at your level of faith. And it's wrapped up in this statement that Davis made today. He said, it's the integrity of your faith that God is seeking first. It's not so much your level compared to somebody else. You know, you see someone who's been in the body for a while and they seem to be believing God for all these big and major things and they're getting results. And you're like, well, I'm not there. I can't believe like they can believe. But that's not the point. So long as your faith has that integrity, that faith is able to be stood upon, you can stand on the word with your faith, then that's all it takes. That God will work with that.
I think that's where the childlike faith really comes in, because a child is very genuine when it comes to what they believe.
Yeah.
And they don't have to know a whole lot about anything, but if you tell them and they believe you, they're going to move on that.
Yeah, and that's where we want to get to. We want to get to where our threshold of faith is whatever the word says, we believe it.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to do. And when you look through the Gospels and Jesus' ministry, you see a series of people with different thresholds of faith, some greater and more magnificent than others, but they all were able to receive from God, no matter where they were. And Jesus met them there and taught them. Even Thomas, you know, with his lack of faith, Jesus still taught him a lesson in what it was. And Thomas was able to get back on track and be a mighty apostle just like the rest of them. So God's never going to leave you hanging just because you're not believing on the same level as somebody else. If you'll work with God, he'll work with you. To that end, there was something I was looking for that Dr. Davis said today. Oh, well, giving a practical example of levels of faith. You know, Dr. Davis said, you know, okay, you got people, a series of people who are sick in their body. You know, they're dealing with a sickness and they believe in God for healing. Some people will believe on a level where they don't need to go to a doctor. They don't need to take no medicine. They don't need to let nobody touch them. They just believe God that I'm healed and receive their healing. You have somebody else whose threshold of faith is, well, I believe if I go to the doctor and I take this medication, I'm going to overcome this sickness while taking this medication. Awesome. Another level of faith of, well, they take me in for a surgery. I'll make it through the surgery. I'm going to live and not die. And I'll be healed and I'm going to overcome this sickness. There you go. That works too. So you've got all these different people, but they're all utilizing their faith because they're putting their trust in God.
Right.
They're putting in trust in God and they're believing his word about healing. So no one person is more of a faith person than the other. They all have different levels of faith, but it's all faith.
And the key is genuine faith.
Exactly.
And we have to just keep reiterating the fact that God has given all men the same measure of faith. Depending on your threshold is going to depend on how developed your faith is. Like your muscles and your body, you all human beings, if you're normal, you have the same number of muscles, but depending on how much time you spend developing those muscles will determine how much weight you will be able to lift and carry. So the same principle applies to the muscle of faith. Even though everybody comes, if you're born again, God has given you the same measure of faith. Depending on how you develop it will determine where your threshold is. The key objective is to get to the point where you believe the word straight out and you get results immediately. But it takes development. It takes time. You don't go to the gym one day and expect to be able to lift 1,000 pounds. Like it's not going to happen. It takes continuous, consistent going to the gym and doing the proper exercises to develop your muscle. So the same thing applies to the word. So, but the comforting thing is that, like you just said, or Dr. Davis said, no matter where you are in your faith, as long as it's genuine, God will meet you there at that threshold.
You know, when I go, I actually go to the gym quite often. When I go, I'll see sometimes other men with bigger frames and a lot more muscle. I look at them and think, man, I would like to look like that. You know, what I do know is that if I do what I do long enough or the right intensity, eventually I can attain to that. And if I don't, then I won't. And you know, when I go to the gym, and you can see it yourself, my body does change. The definition, the size of my muscles, they are changing. It still hasn't reached the level of those people, the other people that I see at the gym, but it has. I'm getting results. It works every time. Anybody can do it. And the same thing with faith. It will work every time. Jesus will, he responds to real faith. And so when you look through the Gospels and all the examples, and I encourage you to listen to the message, because we went through every major example of people coming, and you see everybody's thresholds. Everybody was a little bit different. Everybody had a different level they were believing on. But Jesus moved on all of that faith. Faith moves God regardless. So you pick up that weight and you start lifting it, something's going to change. You will get the result if it's genuine. And we're getting into the integrity of your faith and what makes genuine faith. So listen to the message so that you can see, what does it take to have genuine faith? What kind of results can I expect? And you can begin to discover, what is my threshold of faith? Because once you find out what that is, you can move on it. You can get results. You can grow from there. And it's an awesome thing. So again, text Rapture to 797979 to sign up for RaptureGO. We'd love to have you a part of the ministry, as part of the family, as part of the team. If you want to visit us, we are in the Hampton Roads area, Virginia, Norfolk, holding services at the Doubletree Hotel, 1500 North Military Highway in Norfolk, 23502. We would love to have you. Again, if you need prayer, text pray to 797979. We'd love to pray for you. Thanks so much for watching this week's Rapture Recap. We'll see you on Sunday.